Hey, it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Thursday, October 7th. So the moon is moving out of the Libran energy. We're still very raw though, very vulnerable in this new moon window. The moon, of course, moving out of Libran energy will be locking into Scorpio energy around 11:22 a.m. So a couple important things to kind of mention here. First of all, we are still in the dark moon phase. We need a little bit more time to actually see the moon reemerge in the night sky. Therefore, we're still in a time of rest, recuperation, reflection, rejuvenation. We are resetting ourselves. We are refocusing our energies before we go ahead and get the green light go to take action. Now, the moon in Scorpio is never a favorite. It is never a favorite phase by anybody other than Scorpios. Why? Because it is a water sign. It is deeply dark. It takes us into our shadow parts. It is the alchemist of the zodiac. We have the power to turn our pain into something that can actually motivate us and inspire us to do better. The moon in Scorpio is deeply intuitive, deeply transformative. We tend to step back in order to dive into the depths of our psyche and our heart space in order to connect the dots on why it is we are the way that we are, in order to figure out how we break the chain, break the pattern, and actually move forward. A deep transformation on a soul level. This is where we take, again, the energy from Libra that was very divided, right? We need to kind of bring those scales back into balance. And then the Scorpio energy is where we take those two parts and we unify them. We integrate them. We stand in our wholeness. We stand in our power. So it is going to be a very turbulent energy for the most part, especially coming out of the new moon energy, sitting still very much in the darkness of the night sky. But Scorpio is ruled over by Pluto, and Pluto just went direct right after the new moon in Libra went direct. This means that we are getting another boost in our emotions, boost in our mental plane to go ahead and make the deep inner changes needed inside of us, in our inner realms, before we're going to start having the manpower, the muscle power to actually take action and make moves in our physical realm. So the moon is going to be making 8 aspects here today. 7 of them involve the moon. Right out of the gate, the moon squares Pluto. Now, we just had a new moon. That's a big deal. Pluto just went direct. That's a big deal. A square is a crisis point, a tension point between our emotions, our heart and our head and our actions. Again, Pluto being the great god of the darkness, showing us where a certain death, certain destruction needs to happen in our mental plane, in our heart space, and then in our physical realms. He's really illuminating for us where we have to boss up and take our power back, where it is that we can no longer stay in a state of paralysis under the fears and insecurities of our past pain and past trauma, and where it is that emotionally we got to get a grip. We got to boss up. We got to make efforts to get our heart and our head on the same page so that we can see in this accelerated manifestation stage that we're currently in some actual factual results in our physical realm for the kind of changes that we've made in our inner realms. The moon goes ahead and bumps into the true node. This is a positive aspect because the true node wants to remind us where it is that we're aiming for, what it is that we're trying to align with, what it is that our dreams, our visions, and our goals are, and what absolutely needs to change in order for us to actually see that manifest. If we were in the perfect vibration, mindset, and frequency in order to have our dreams and our visions actually come to life, we would be living in that state already. We're not there yet. We have a lot of inner processing to do. We have a lot of changes and transformations that we need to make in our mind, in our heart space, in our soul space, before we're going to see that be reflected in our physical realms. We get a little bit of help because the moon goes ahead and makes a very harmonious aspect with Neptune, who is retrograde in Pisces. Now, let me tell you, we're already hypersensitive because we're in a new moon. We're already just wanting to escape reality because it's been very dark. That's what a dark moon is supposed to do. It's supposed to illuminate the extreme darkness that is in every single one of us. And we're supposed to live in that extreme so that we can figure out that we don't want to live there, so that we can make the changes necessary in order to walk ourselves out of the darkness, out of the shadows, and step into the light. The moon and Neptune right now, yes, is going to make it feel very overwhelming in our heart space and in our emotions. Our intuition is very strong. We're picking up on subtle energies coming in from the cosmos. I do recommend that you check out the Ascension Symptom Forecast if you haven't already. And even if you have, it might be a good time to remind yourself of all of these energy blasts coming in and what kind of effect that has on our physical bodies. The moon and Neptune are trying to help us elevate to our higher selves. Sitting in the darkness of our fears and insecurity is very connected to ego, very connected to identity, very much this earthly realm. Right now, we're trying to raise our vibrations and frequencies to align with our higher selves and the plan of the cosmos to get us out of this earthly realm and into the ethereal realm, where magic and possibility and imagination and dreams and vision are very real. We have to go to that place in order to bring in that energy to renew us in our faith, renew us in our trust, renew us in believing that the good things are going to happen, that the dream is going to manifest, the vision is going to be a reality. Now, the only aspect that doesn't involve the moon here today is Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, money, and future planning. Now, yesterday, under the new moon, under Pluto actually going direct, Venus was the ruler of that moon event. She also spent her very last day in Scorpio waters. Many of us are going to be very happy with her transition moving into Sagittarius. The last month has been very overwhelming. It has been very illuminating to where it is that we are lacking connection, lacking unity, lacking the understanding of our shadow selves. That Scorpio energy, of course, takes us into our shadow in order to illuminate the darker parts of our psyche, of our heart space, illuminating our wounds, recognizing where it is that we have chosen partners based on the fact that we are hoping that they are going to heal certain parts of us, fill certain voids within us that we haven't even accepted or acknowledged within ourselves. We have had overwhelming desires to unify on a soul connection, on a soul level with our partners. We have had some intimacy issues come up. Again, Venus being in Scorpio, not the best energy for any kind of false relationship, toxic relationship. There's likely lies and betrayal that were illuminated in order for you to take a good look at yourself. It's not what other people are doing to you, it's what you're allowing other people to actually do. Why? Because you're at a vibration and frequency that are attracting these people to remind you of the wounds that you haven't healed within yourself. It's been a very intense time. Now, Venus is moving into Sagittarius. I am going to recommend that you go ahead and that you check out the cosmic event. I go into a little bit more detail on what we can expect with Venus's little adventure into Sag. But basically, Sag is the light at the end of the tunnel. After we go through Scorpio, after we tear ourselves down, after we try to put ourselves back together and stand in our power, Sag energy shows us where it is that a brand new truth is emerging, where a brand new belief system in ourself and in the universe is emerging, where basically we have to understand that the dark parts of us, our ego, Sagittarius energy shows us our higher selves. It is a higher form of our spirit, of our soul. It's when we kind of get our power back because we're opening ourselves up for a brand new possibility on the horizon based off of it just acknowledging where it is that we don't want to sit in the darkness any longer. So Venus goes ahead and moves into Sagittarius, and this is going to lighten the mood. We are going to need a couple of days in order for this particular vibration to actually settle in. But for the most part, this is where our power comes back, where our light comes back, where new values, new worthiness within ourselves emerge because we see a brand new truth emerge, where the excitement, the passion, the desire, the direction becomes clear on where it is we want to pour our energy into, because we just recognized in Scorpio where it is that we had to dim our light, where it is we've given our power away, where it is we've settled, where it is that we're still very wounded, expecting other people outside of us to actually fulfill those voids within us. And we recognize now that we have all the information, all the knowledge, all the power within us to make a beautiful transformation. This is going to really help us recognize where we have to detour, where we have to make a change, where we have to enlighten ourselves and swallow a brand new truth. So the moon is going to go ahead and then bump back into Venus. Okay, so Venus, she makes her transition into Sag, and the moon is like, oh, bam, let's see what this is all about. Let's see what you're going to change now. So at this particular point, the moon is still very much in Libra, looking for balance, looking for fairness, looking for, love and peace and harmony. In this particular energy, especially bumping into Venus, who rules over this Libran energy, is very much trying to say, hey, hang on, there's hope. We just got to be a little bit patient here. We just have to do the inner work necessary that we've already been illuminated to in order to align to a brand new path. The moon is like, oh, okay, great. I'm so glad. I'm just going to be patient. I'm going to take a step back. The moon goes ahead and transits into Scorpio waters. Trust me, things get a little bit emotional. We get a little bit hypersensitive. We get overly passionate. New desires are coming to the surface with the moon and Scorpio. And the moon goes ahead and bumps into the true node. The true node is saying, oh, hey, you're in a different emotional state and mind space. Let's see how you think about your dream now. Let's see how you think about your vision now. You've been illuminated to some truth. You've changed a couple of things about you. So looking at the dream that you're looking to manifest, are you willing to change anything? Now, let me just tell you, we're likely going to be triggered by outside events, outside people here today. That is really going to change our minds about some of the elements that we had planned for our future vision. Now with the moon in Scorpio, we really have to dive in deep and do the detective work within ourselves to say, why did I actually paint a vision of a future with this person who is illuminated to me that they are not willing to meet me halfway, not willing to, connect with me on the intimate level that I'm looking for? Why have I designed a futuristic goal for me to pour all of my love, energy, and attention to carry these dead weight people along with me? What in me is still so unhealed that I think that I can make such a dramatic change in these other people when I can barely manage to make the right kind of changes within myself? So again, that doesn't sound like a very good vibe, right? But we have to go with that vibe in order to rewrite the plans for our future. Again, Mercury is retrograde. We have a lot of reworking to do, restructuring to do, redesigning to do, redreaming to do. We have to re-edit our plans, revise our plans, and then rewrite the script on what it is that we actually want to manifest. The moon is going to go ahead and bump into Neptune. Now, the moon in Scorpio is water. Neptune retrograde in Pisces is water. Water is deeply emotional, intuitive, and transforming. Again, with the transformation, Pluto is now direct ruling over this moon in Scorpio. We just had a new moon. There is an inner transformation taking place in the subtle energies of our being that we will never be able to make sense of in our logical and practical egoic mindset. The moon and Neptune are coming together right now to basically align with our higher self, to see what it is that we're being called to do, what it is that we're being drawn to do. Again, things have changed, not only within us, but in our physical surroundings. We have to adapt, we have to rewrite, we have to readjust. And the moon in Scorpio is asking the right kind of questions within ourselves. And Neptune in Pisces is asking us to align to the higher frequencies, to heal those lower egoic vibrations and see what happens as far as the inner transformation goes, where it is that we need to lean more into our spiritual beliefs instead of our egoic beliefs. Now, just a tidbit of information here. Because we're in the new moon energy still, because things are dark, because things are heavy, because the moon in Scorpio wants to highlight the shadow in order to turn that into light, Neptune in Pisces wants to escape. It's very overwhelming. It's very emotional. There's a lot of information coming through and we can't make sense of it. So we want to escape. And many of us may turn to drugs and alcohol or some other form of numbing in order to step away from the inner work that our spirit is calling us to do. So I want you to be very cautiously aware that you are not running away from your thoughts and feelings and throwing yourself into some mundane task or habit or behavior that is eventually going to basically kick you in your butt and put you on your butt and really make you struggle a lot more than you need to struggle. To kind of drive that point home, the moon in Scorpio is going to square Saturn, the lord of karma. Now, Saturn is preparing to go direct as well. He will be going direct on the 10th, which means that these last couple of days while he's still retrograde, he really wants to drive his point home. His point while retrograde in Aquarius has been to take a good look at the systems and the structures that you have built in your life and whether or not they're working for you, whether or not they're supporting you to move forward, to evolve, or whether or not you've created these systems and structures that now look a little bit more like a prison, keeping you stuck in a comfort zone, quote unquote comfort zone, because it's not very comfortable anymore, that is so familiar that you are willing to stay in an uncomfortable position because it is familiar and predictable. This is an opportunity for us to boss up. This is a reality check. This is the tough love life lesson coming at us saying, okay, you have a choice. We just had a new moon. There's two paths that you can walk from here. What are you going to do about it? Now, the moon in Scorpio is very magical, very powerful. It's our inner witch, if you want to call it that, our inner alchemist. Has the ability, because one foot is in this earthly realm, the other foot is in the spirit realm. It has the ability to transform our mind, body, and soul into whatever form it needs to be in order to align with the path, with the vision, with the dream in which we are currently trying to manifest. But that decision is up to each and every single one of us. Saturn is here trying to show you where it is that you've been shown tough love life lessons in your past in order for you to learn lessons, in order for you to learn certain knowledge so that you can use that knowledge in your present moment and as you move into the future. But if you're going to continuously be put in similar situations on repeat and you continuously know better, but you choose not to do better, have you truly learned anything? The moon squaring Saturn right now is an opportunity for us to get a grip over our emotions, over our headspace, and then over our realities. We are the one creating and designing the reality in which we live in. So if you're unsatisfied with your life right now, take a good look in the mirror and ask yourself, what unhealed parts of me is creating this reality that I consider to be a punishment or a form of suffering that I've been praying to actually make a change, to actually see something different, but I'm not willing to boss up and acknowledge and accept the role that I've played in creating this prison for myself. So it is going to be a highly emotional day, a little bit dark. Let me tell you, the light is coming, but we do have some serious detective work to do in our heart, in our soul, in our headspace, before we're going to align and before we're going to see the reality that we're currently living in change for the better.